I'm Cameron.
And I'm Eos, and we're the two-person team who make up Bride at Midnight.
And this is our game, The Chaser's Voyage.
In our game, you are a daring space captain trying to make 1 million units in 100 days in order to avoid getting a bounty on your head. To do that, you're transporting these clients from one planet to another, and as you can see, they each have their own story to tell. They come with all their own risks and challenges. So your job is to pick the best client, then fly them safely, managing your ship's systems.
Yeah, and we are starting here in the middle of a run so that we can get into the really nice nitty-gritty stuff once the difficulty starts picking up as you play more and more. So we wanted to show what that was like while we talked about our game. So we're off on our first voyage. We'll see how this goes. Okay, good minefield with the bounty hunter. Hopefully we can use those mines to take out the bounty hunter. Risk of going too fast is hitting these things hurts a lot more than you would expect.
And those ion weapons can disable your systems, and those missiles can lock on.
Like that. And when they shoot the mines, they start to explode, which can make them explode just perfectly in time to hit you. But if the ion shots hit the missiles, then they get disabled, which is a nice little bonus. Those chain explosions are brutal.
Yeah, so like Cameron said before, this is taking place in the middle of a run. You can see we're on day 33 of the voyage already. Looks like he
34 soon.
They retreated.
Oh, good.
And so when you start at the beginning of the game, you're going to be getting like just a minefield or just a bounty hunter or any of our other like obstacles or encounters. But once you get a bit further in, it starts everything starts comboing together, and by the end of the game, like when it gets closer to day 100, there is just a barrage of things.
Yeah, you can have stuff like a pirate ship chasing you through a minefield, which is also mixed up with an asteroid field while there's a rad storm going on. It can get quite tough.
So you really have to like think on your feet. You have to have a strategy for every situation. It's like, I think this, our game is one of those games where it's like you truly have to think like a space captain.
Yeah, and no two encounters have necessarily the same like strategies. That like if you're in a minefield with a bounty hunter like before, it can be really good to maybe slow down a little and use the mines to try to make them explode near the bounty hunter. Or if you find that, this bounty hunter is causing you too much problems, you can try to speed up, but then you risk running into the mines. Versus if you have just a regular bounty hunter, you can actually just focus on dodging their shots and returning fire rather than worrying about, exploding. But yeah, it's always nice to run into a merchant fleet to get some repairs, even if, the client planet is next. So yeah, that was a relatively easy client. Gave us a nice 63,000. A little harder choices here. We got 2 Imperial spies and a fugitive who is gonna be a tougher
But look at those eyes.
mission. Oh, Jarl. I'm sorry that you're wanted by the Empire
for stealing money. Yeah, like I said, every client has their own story, and often their stories will tell you a little bit about who might not like them. So you got to choose your clients carefully.
Like how this guy does not want to be tracked by the UGS, which is great because he's going through 3 Imperial spaces. The pirate space might be a little bit of a worry, but I think we got this.
Right, but you also saw that he was only offering 30,000 for 4 jumps. That's not typically a good ratio, but this is safe. And in our game, if you're playing on our easier mode, which is called Voyager mode, I say easy, but you can make it as hard as you want.
It's the customizable mode.
in that mode, you can die as many times as you want, respawn, you get to see the end of the game. But in our captain mode, which is my favorite mode, you only get one life. You only get one shot at this. And let me tell you that, like, my heart races sometimes.
Captain mode can be very, very intense. I very much like the Voyager mode is really good too if you're like you want to have the challenge of captain mode, but you're not quite there yet. Voyager mode has options where you can try out encounters that are stumping you more and more and keep refining it until you really nail down a strategy. Because again, each encounter requires a different thing. This one, we're fighting a pirate with, you know, a laser cannon and ion shots that can deplete our shields or even our systems. So the best thing is to keep a good amount of movement and return fire. And boom, they're out of there. Bye-bye.
All targets eliminated.
And now that they're gone, we can turn up our jump, get that jump drive charge, and get on to the next encounter. Which is a debris field. Okay. This one has a ton of obstacles, but since these ships have already been torn to pieces, it's a little easier to plow through them with our cannon fire. So you can see that even the lowest level in our weapons system is able to destroy a lot of these weaker debris quite easily. The bigger ones are a little tougher, and our space jump got damaged from that collision.
Yeah. So if you're not familiar, like, too much with our game, this is a good opportunity to kind of, like, walk everyone through the power system.
It's just, yeah.
So you can see in the bottom right hand corner, there's all these different, like, power levels, and we're, you know, taking power out and putting power in to boost certain systems at the cost of other systems. So 16 possible options, but only 8 points to distribute.
So you have to be real selective in how you want to pit it through. The more power in a system, the better the system operates. So,
right,
you know.
So in this case, with the weapons at 3, means they have enough power to demolish most of these pieces of debris. And with the engines at 3 means I'm going at a pretty good speed, and the ship is pretty maneuverable. It's also charging the space jump drive faster. But with the shields at 1, it kind of, like,
yeah,
like getting hit just even a little bit can do some damage to the hull. And right now I have 1 power in auxiliary.
So that we have life support and on.
So we can breathe.
Yeah, breathing is appreciated.
Optional.
Until it isn't.
Until it isn't.
Until you run out.
Yeah.
But it really helps in that pinch when you need that little bit of extra oomph to let the oxygen get a little low for the time being.
Hila, how are their repair drones?
Ooh. Okay, nice little merchant fleet. We could stop for repairs, or since we're only 88, we could, you know, charge our jump with autopilot. It's a nice, safe encounter, and we can just get on out of here and say goodbye to them. We got 2 more jumps. Yeah, we'll just move on by, say farewell to those merchants. Hope they fare as well as we are. And that's the star. Okay, hope they fare a little better than we are. And a bounty hunter. Okay. So this is quite the reckless bounty hunter chasing us into a nearby star's solar flare orbit, clearly, since our systems keep getting taken out.
Captain, I have to switch.
You can see the auxiliary systems are almost completely dead.
And now they are dead.
They are completely dead.
Which is extra dangerous here because the more auxiliary we have, the better we can repair our systems. But if auxiliary is really low, it's going to be hard to get that all back online.
Now, luckily, this hunter is firing missiles, and when missiles are so close to a star, they don't home in, but...
And you could see the exact moment that we got far enough away from the star that the missiles turned back on and started veering straight towards us. And so yeah, level 2 in weapons shoots down missiles. So each level kind of has its own little nice unique boost to it. So like level 3, Eos mentioned it was stronger. It also actually fires a little faster too. So it was really helpful getting through that debris field. But
yeah, and the more power you have on auxiliary, the faster your repairs go.
To the point where if you have all 4, you can even repair everything at once, which is really helpful after you get through a rough star or radiation storm encounter. See the pirates switching up their
That's
tactics.
a bounty hunter.
You are right. That is the bounty hunter.
Yeah, this one of the many interesting quirks with bounty hunters is they all have access to the 4 weapon types, which would be lasers, missiles, and then ion shots and ion missiles. And each bounty hunter is unique. They have different preferences for what they want to fire in what situation.
So now that we're out of the star and our shields being depleted doesn't hurt us as much, this seems like it kind of just wants to punch through and beat us with lasers. But we got them a little outnumbered there, and AS is showing off some wonderful flying here. So I'm not too worried about how we're going to fare, especially when our jump gets charged and we can just get on out of there.
And we'll probably never see that bounty hunter again.
Well, yeah, because they're after our client, not us.
Take like a day or two to catch our
It would
breath.
be really bad if we got the bounty
Yes.
and they were after us.
Okay, Jenny, 2 for 25,000. Petra, 3 for 45,000. Ooh, 3 for 45,000 is quite nice. We'll look at Jenny. Nice, little good old
Low.
supply officer. Imperial and UGS, a standard mix of bad and good. Petra wants to go to T'Pol and Pirate Imperial and UGS. Bad, good, bad. And Lilo's offering quite a bit of money for only a little bit of risk. That might be the best client to take, especially since we're a little ahead. But I think Eos wants to take a little more of a risk. So let's see how this plays out.
Top gun, check. Bottom gun, check. Nose gun,
Hagosh.
check. Tail gun,
Name of the planet.
check.
Huh?
All guns are good to go.
I was letting Ty do his weapon check. Yeah, one of the nice things is that this is one of our new features that were just in this update, which is combo obstacles. So you can now get overlapping obstacles. Before you could get a debris field or a minefield. You can never get both. Now you can. And if you get far enough in the game, you can even get a third thing like an asteroid field or a sentry field layered up on top of that. Or if you're really unlucky, a star. And unfortunately, we're also being chased.
But so this is a unique feature to some clients is that
Yes.
they might know pirates or they might have connections because you never know who you're picking up. And if you want to risk it, you can try communicating to the pirates, and they might leave you alone. It takes 3 power into auxiliary, which means 3 less power in your other systems, which are like more immediately important.
So you might have to take away some shields, maybe some engines. It'll be harder to dodge your fire because the pirates aren't really that sympathetic when you're trying to talk to them.
But in this case, it was worth the risk to get them to leave us alone and let us fly through this horrible situation.
Yeah, especially with all these mines chain blasting off of each other, it can be quite rough. We got very lucky that our client was friends with that pilot. And this is what every pilot hopes for, which is a nice, good, well-timed docking. It is so good to get repairs, and even better when they're free.
Right. Normally, repairs like this would be costing us money, which drags us further from our goal of making 1 million units. But one of the advantages to taking an aligned client, so an Imperial smuggler or an Imperial spy, is that if you find an Imperial fleet, they'll repair you for free.
And thankfully, we did. So we managed to offset that terrible encounter from before, and we're now back at a pretty good, solid 9. Sorry. I love our characters so much. They're a hoot.
Right, and here's the downside to picking up an aligned client is they might be hated by someone. In this case, our Imperial friend is not liked by the UGS.
And the UGS can tell we have them on board, so they've sent out fighters and battleships to stop us. But thankfully, we have some guns of our own. As long as we don't get hit by the big ones, we'll be mostly fine.
Yeah, those big cannons pack quite a punch. They're pretty. Well, I say easy to dodge. They're easier to dodge.
Woo! And we also got to be really careful because the chaser can't survive a head-on collision with a full battleship. So one wrong move and we could go splat against their guns, which would be it is, I think, the most embarrassing way to die in this game. They got one last pot shot out on us. Oh, but we make it to
As
pole.
projected, we completed the
An
mission
okay
with
amount of
Mila seems to
full.
think we did above average.
Oh, I hate to see what the average is then. So let's see. Anya has a nice 4 jumps for 47.8 thousand units. But like we were saying before, you can have people who are enemies, and they are not a friend of anyone. So that would only be negatives if we picked her. We would only be hated. We would not get any free repairs. We came across the enemy factions and they would try to gun us down. Lala's a pretty safe bet, who's also offering a ton of money, so it's a pretty easy choice here. We're not always you're not always going to get lucky with your client selection, so it's good to learn how to pick the best client in any given scenario. Ooh, yes. Here's one of the later encounters you can get that is not even available at the start. A space battle. Turns out the longer the game goes on, the more the war escalates, and things start to get a little out of hand between the UGS and the Empire. And sometimes innocent people, like us, who definitely are not affiliated with one way or the other, yep, definitely can't call in help with friends, get caught in the middle.
Understood. We'll clarify path.
So because we're running a mission for the UGS, they're willing to help us out in this battle.
Now we got an escort, so we got nothing to fear.
Engines are at max strength.
Okay, good. He made it out alive. I like that little guy. Nope. Sadly, they're still trying to fire. Oh man, those fighters. Yeah, the fighters might seem like they're little puny guys compared to the chaser, but they can unload quite a lot of damage. It's why it's really nice to have a little escort to shoot them down as they're coming at us. They can't devote all their resources to protecting us, but every little bit helps. Yeah, let's turn back on the oxygen.
These merchant ships remind me of my old fleet.
Okay, a
Alright,
nice
so
merchant fleet.
It's not a friendly UGS fleet to give us free repairs, but it's something.
Their resources might not be the best, but they'll get the job mostly done. And we'll be able to not be sitting at 18% hull, which is a little too close for my comfort.
Yeah, so you can see our money. The money is just
Rapidly
depleting.
Sometimes it can be really good to take high-paying jobs, and depending on your performance, it can end up balancing out to about nothing or put you in the red, which, yeah, you only have 100 days to pay off that debt, so you gotta really work on it. A mix of good flying, good client selection, good power strategy management is key to doing well in this game.
Scans indicate numerous planet-side spaceports.
Well,
Ideal.
and luck. Luck also helps. But our next jump is the client planet. We're going to get repairs there whether we like it or not, so we'll move on and just
obviously,
get repairs here.
So obviously that means, though, it's like the better you do
Not bad, Chief.
over the course of a
Chief's
mission,
really taking a
the more
liking to
money
you.
you earn, I guess, net, right?
Yeah, because if you take very minimal damage, you get to actually keep most of the money you made instead of, getting to 60% and watching it slowly drain
Wealthy
away.
clients.
Oh man, they are so unbearable, but they offer so much money, and you're not in a position to be picky, so we'll have to choose them. And okay, we're at 500,000.
Verified. We
We're
are
just
good
about
for
at day
takeoff.
50. We're halfway there in both ways. We're doing okay. This, assuming we don't have a catastrophic failure, this should put us ahead quite a bit.
ATS fleet up ahead.
We're neutral with both sides right now.
So if we were damaged, we could dock with them for repairs, but it would cost us money. Thankfully, they don't hate us. We don't need repairs, so we can just fly on by.
Incoming asteroids.
Ah,
All
a
crews should
classic
brace themselves.
asteroid field with the best song in the game.
Yeah, so even like later on in the game, you can encounter just single obstacles, single events. This game really just keeps you on your toes.
Yeah, it's not necessarily that, oh, you're guaranteed to just be, woo.
Almost
Oh,
made it.
almost got through. I thought she was gonna do it, but it's the cost of being reckless. But she's showing some quite adept flying and maneuvering through these large asteroids. They can be quite annoying. Oh, nice slow down there so that you take less damage because you're not running into it at full speed. But yeah. So it's random. You're more likely to get combo encounters, more dangerous things, but you can get the occasional breather. You can get a merchant fleet or just a debris field, just an asteroid field. In this case, this is an asteroid. No, that was last time. This is a sentry field mixed with a debris field with a pirate hiding out in it. So we got to get this pirate off our back and get out of here with our ship intact. Which thankfully we can use the debris as some natural cover and dodge their missiles well enough.
As long as I don't bump into any of these sentries, then they should be leaving both of us alone.
Yeah, it's... Oh, ha! The pirate ran into one of the sentries. So now the sentries are aggroed against the pirates, so they'll help us out in defeating them. And if we run into them, well, then they'll be aggro against us. Nice. It's always satisfying to have the enemy run in. Yes, there we go. They're out of here. It's always satisfying to have the enemy run into something that you dodged.
We are victorious.
Okay, take a quick breather, reassess what the engagement is like now that the pirate's gone, and yeah, some low-level weapons will get us through this just fine. And thankfully our jump is almost charged, so we'll be on our way shortly. Yeah, I love the combo obstacles. They add a lot of nice like depth to these encounters, because like a sentry field alone can be like, well, this isn't the most dangerous thing, but you have an aggro sentry field while you're having to fly through debris, and it can get a lot more challenging and a lot more fun. Another space battle as the war gets worse and worse. Did that guy fly into the engine fire?
He did.
Oh no.
And with our totally neutral client, our very wealthy neutral client, neither side is particularly interested in doing anything. We might get caught in the crossfire.
Like that.
Yeah.
They don't really care to avoid. Oops. Poor flying. They don't really care to avoid harming civilians, which is, you know, rude. But yeah, thankfully we are actually neutral this time, so we don't have anyone gunning us down on purpose. Which does make it a little easier to get through some parts, but also I just miss having our little escort buddies. They were so nice.
Well, next time we'll have to pick up an aligned client.
Yeah. Risks be damned.
Wake up, everyone.
Okay, bounty
I've got
hunter,
a ship in my sights.
star.
It's a bounty
We
hunter,
got
and I
this.
think they're here to collect
They
our
don't know what
client.
they're in for.
Too bad for you. You're worth more dead than alive.
Ha! This bounty hunter seems to be favoring missiles, which is a questionable
Space
choice
jump
in a
systems
star,
will
but
suffer damage.
hey,
Well, then again, if the missiles hit, 2 systems can get rebooted.
yeah, and it does. They are ion missiles, so they do deplete the shields by quite a bit.
Drones have finished
I saw they switched to yeah, like that.
Yeah, and you need your shields to not take damage from the heat of the star.
Yeah, the solar flares are bad enough. The actual residual heat on top of that can be killer to the
Space
whole.
jump drive has been repaired.
And yeah, once we get
Looks like
out of
we're-
this star,
I think we're probably out of it.
yeah, now he switches to lasers. He's like, okay, I don't need you to take star damage anymore. I'm just gonna shoot you.
Yeah, alright. No more Mr. Nice
Ty's
Guy.
had enough of this guy, so let's take him out or get on our merry
Between a
way.
hunter and their prey.
Missiles are locking on.
Some good flying can get around that, but
Buddy, you okay?
Yeah, so you can see now our lasers are taking out the missiles.
now that we have level 2, they're no problem. We can just be on our merry way. How many jumps do we have? One?
One more.
That bounty hunter's not
Still-
going to be a problem anymore.
Yeah. That's still a lot of damage though.
Oof, yeah. Oh, especially when we have to fight another bounty hunter
Be a pirate ship.
in a minefield.
Likely a bounty
This is gonna be a little tougher than the last encounter. This hailstorm is also reducing our visibility, so it's a lot harder to see the mines as they come forth. How nice of them to be taking them out for us, though.
Right. This is a good example of how you can use the environment as your weapon. You can see him taking. I'm trying to set some mines off on purpose so that they'll explode near him. And
He keeps disabling a lot of them, though, which is keeping them a little safer than I'd like. But that was a perfect hit right there. Bounty hunters are a lot better at dodging than the pirates, so it helps to send harder to dodge obstacles their way. And gone. Now it's just a standard low visibility minefield. Nothing Eos hasn't done before.
but I mean, it really is just when you're going up against a pirate or a bounty hunter. It really is just about who's the better pilot.
Yeah.
And you.
And sometimes, right as you're bragging about piloting skill, you run headfirst into a mine. It's just how voyages go.
That's what shields are for.
Yes.
We're at the breaking
Chain
point.
explosions. Okay, so yeah, that was quite the wealthy payout, but
A
also,
lot of it's going to waste, though.
yeah, that was a lot of damage. Okay, let's see what the damage is after we pick our next client. Ooh, look at these people. They're barely offering anything. 3 jumps for 14,000. That's safe, but it's a terrible payout. Pike is a nice, good payout. Hated by the UGS.
I mean, as long as hated by just one faction, that's not bad.
Especially when they're not even going into UGS territory. That's quite nice. Yeah, I think Pike is the clear choice here. Thankfully, we, yeah, we're
stick
going to
around
stay
to
for
repair.
repairs. So we ended up only getting really about 67,000 out of that, what, like 88,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
To do that.
But
Could have been worse.
rules.
Could have had the ship explode.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta care about survival.
Yep. Even in Voyager mode, where you can respawn if you want, we do keep track of death. So if you go through and you're like,
What exactly?
I died 5 times that voyage,
You know,
you can
most
work
of the
on bumping
systems
that
here
number down a
are
little bit.
custom-made.
Maybe game
It will
prepared
take
for
at
Chaser,
least a few weeks
sorry,
to recalibrate
Captain
the
mode,
software.
where
Not to
you only got that
mention
one
everything
life to
to-
spend.
Sorry I asked.
Nice. Easy merchant fleet. On to the next encounter. A star. Oh.
Looks like
Okay.
UPS Firebird was just
So,
for us.
this is the problem with taking someone who isn't liked by other people.
Client. Either way, we can't
They
take
send
that
a
thing
whole battleship after you.
Just to end you.
Afterburner's fixed.
There they are. As you saw, their particle cannon is quite intimidating, so we're going to keep our sensors up to avoid that. Yeah, good dodge. And we'll try to make some distance between us while keeping our shields up to not burn alive in this star.
Sorry, Chief. Gonna have
And
to power
hopefully
down.
not have all our systems break like our engines.
Oh, that's not
Which
good.
oh,
Ooh, if the
is
engines aren't strong enough,
Turn the engines down.
can't get away from this battleship.
And they can just ram us. So let's get that stuff fixed as quickly as possible. Good. We're at 3. We're
I think we're out of the star.
just barely keeping pace. Let's get as far away from them as we can.
So, they're gonna try and slow
Oh,
us down with
that
fighters.
Now that we're out of the star, they're sending fighters at us.
They care about the fighters enough to not send them into the star, but they don't care enough not to fire on them. Poor little guys. One of them could have been our friend. Look at that formation. It's annoying. They stick behind and try to slow you down so that the fighter can, catch up and make sure
the
you don't
battleship.
leave. Oh yes, the battleship. The fighters try to slow you down so you can't get out of the battleship's firing range, which
Repair drones ready for mass
we
deployment.
have done. Now that big cannon, no
What?
longer an issue. Ow. No longer an issue as long as we keep our engines up. But these fighters are gonna still be here until we get out of here. So let's not be too risky.
100% ready to
We
go.
got our things repaired.
Chief.
Jump charge. Let's get out of here. Whew, okay.
Right, just one more jump.
And we'll be able to collect.
I've
Oh,
established connection with a spaceport on
very
the planet's
nice. They
surface.
aren't our
I'll
friends.
request permission to land.
And we also don't really need to get repairs to them because we're about to head to the client anyway.
Functions restored.
So, a nice, relaxing encounter after that very, very close call. The grotto.
Mission accomplished.
I
We
love,
should take
I love
this
the
opportunity
planet
to
names
repair
too
the
and the
ship.
different biomes. Whew. There we go. That was a much better run.
All right. Thanks for watching, everyone. If our game looks cool to you, just you can wishlist us on Steam. That's the Chaser's Voyage.
We also are in early access, and hopefully by the time this video goes live, our newest update with the combo obstacles, new rebalancing of encounters, ton of bug fixes. Hopefully that update will be live, and you can enjoy some dangerous flying yourself. Catchy space tagline to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jump to hyper jump.
Jump to not hyper the thing that is too close. Yes, yes. See you on the next voyage. There we go.
There we
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
All right, hold on. One more and I'll just spice it in.
Okay.
See you on the next same time.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
All
yeah.
right,
Yeah.
yeah.
See you on the next voyage. Nailed it.